foggy Cincinnati, it's the Reds taking on the Montreal Expos. This game was held up an hour and a half at the beginning due to rain. But when they got started, the pitchers were in control early. Here, Jack Armstrong strikes out Gilberto Reyes in the top of the second inning. Oil Can Boyd was just as strong. Here is striking out Jack Armstrong to end the bottom of the second inning. There was no score going to the fifth inning. But in the top of the fifth inning, the Expos would break out. Larry Walker against Jack Armstrong, and Walker would hit this shot deep to center field. A monstrous blast. For Larry Walker, it's his sixth home run of the season. It scores Gilberto Reyes ahead of him, and the Expos took a 2-0 lead. But the Reds would come right back. In the bottom of the fifth inning, Oil Can Boyd will serve up this meatball to Barry Larkin. A bullet down the left field line for Larkin, his ninth home run of the season, RBI number 25, and the lead was cut to 2-1. But in the top of the sixth inning, the Expos would stretch the lead once again. Tim Wallach going opposite field for a two-run home run, his seventh of the season, RBIs number 30 and 31, and the Expos led it 4-1. Still in the top of the sixth inning, it's Tom Foley with the RBI single to right field. Dave Martinez comes in to score, and the Expos lead is 5-1. Then in the bottom of the seventh inning, it's Hal Morris here with the RBI double down the right field line. Barry Larkin will score all the way from first base, and the Expos lead is cut to 5-2. For Morris, RBI number 27. Then in the bottom of the ninth inning, with the Expos leading at 7-2, it's Chris Sabo with his two-run home in the left field, his 11th of the season, third of the week, and this made the score 7-4 Montreal. But Barry Jones would strike out Todd Benzinger at the end of the ballgame for his fifth save. They win it 7-4. Oil Can Boyd wins it. He's 4-6.
Fulton County Stadium on Saturday evening, Mackie Sasser of the New York Mets and Kent Merca of the Atlanta Braves do some bat signing before today's contest between the Braves and New York. Top two, no score, Kevin Elster at the plate for New York against starter for Atlanta, Steve Avery. Elster RBI infield single because that plate's Mark Carrion. And when the ball goes off of Jeff Treadway's glove, Rick Cerrone scores as well, and it's 2-0 New York. That Brave fan ain't waving too enthusiastically. Steve Avery on the mound pitching to Howard Johnson in the top of the third inning. Howard Johnson fly ball to center field. Ron Gant camps under it, but on the play, tagging up and scoring from third base is Kevin McReynolds, 3-0 New York. And there were Met fans at Atlanta Fulton County Stadiums, Met fans, Atlanta fans, and fans from Mars. Top of the fifth inning, and Rick Mailer is now pitching in relief. He gets hit by Kevin McReynolds up the middle into center field. An RBI single as Greg Jeffries scores from second base, and McReynolds takes second on the throw home, 4-0 New York. In the same fifth inning, Howard Johnson lines one into the right center field gap through the second baseman, and Kevin McReynolds will score from second as he had to wait to see if the liner would be caught, 5-0 New York. In the same inning, then Mark Carrion would get his first RBI as a starter in the Met lineup. With this single up the middle, it scores Howard Johnson, and it was 6-0 New York in the fifth inning. The throw trying to get Hubie Brooks at third base is not in time, and Carrion takes second on that throw. New York made it a 4-run fifth inning when Ron Darling gets a ground ball that Rafael Belliard snares. Darling is out at first, but Hubie Brooks scores from third, and it was 7-0 New York. The Brave fans say on bat night, we want the Atlanta bats to get going, and Lonnie Smith delivers against New York starter Ron Darling. With a runner aboard in the seventh inning, Smith goes the opposite way for a two-run home run, and it was a 7-2 New York lead through seven. But Ron Darling goes 8 innings, finishes up with 2 runs and 3 hits yielded. Here he gets Tommy Gregg to ground out to end the second inning. Ron Darling increases record 4-4. Steve Avery 7-5. New York wins 7-2.
Jose Canseco is on the bench in the game against the Boston Red Sox, possibly because he's 0 for 13 with 9 strikeouts lifetime versus Greg Harris. In the bottom of the third inning, Joe Susarski, who is having control problems, hits Tom Brunansky in the arm with a pitch. That forces Wade Boggs in, making the score 2-0 Boston. The trainer came out to look at Brunansky, but he remained in the game. The same could not be said of Susarski, who was taken out of the game at that point. Still in the bottom of the third inning, Carlos Quintana will hit a double. Believe it or not, this shot through short is a double for Quintana that scores Clark and Greenwell. giving Quintana 28 RBIs for the season. Here you see him sliding in with a double to make the score 4-0 Boston. Still in the third inning, after a sacrifice fly made the score 5-0, Ellis Burks will hit a single to left field. This brings Quintana into score. You'll see Burks going to second on the throw. That gave him 21 RBIs for the season, and it gave Boston a big 6-0 lead. Greg Harris allowed 3 runs on 5 hits and 6 1/3 innings pitched. Here in the top of the fourth inning, he strikes out Ricky Henderson on a pitch that Joe Brinkman said was on the inside corner. Henderson disagreed. In the top of the sixth inning, Mark McGwire, who had 2 RBIs for Oakland in the game, hit a single to right field that scored Dave Henderson. Dave Henderson skips home here, making the score 6-2 Boston. That gave McGwire 40 RBIs for the season. Then in the bottom of the sixth inning, the Red Sox really broke it open as Wade Boggs hit a double to left field, scoring Jody Reed and making the score 7-2 Red Sox. Still in the sixth, Mike Greenwell comes to the plate, and Greenwell will hit a ground ball single through the right side. This scores Boggs and makes the score 8-2 Red Sox. Carlos Quintana picked up his 3rd RBI of the game with a single up the middle that scored Jack Clark. You'll see Greenwell getting thrown out at third on the replay. That made it 9-2 Boston, and they went on to win by a final score of 9-5. The winner, Harris, is 3-7. The loser, Suzarski, is 2-4.
Right at Milwaukee, it's the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Seattle Mariners, and Eric Hansen making his first start since May 28th because of an elbow injury. Here in the bottom of the first inning, he gets Jim Gantner on a nice play by Pete O'Brien. And in the first inning, the Mariners jumped out to a quick 1-0 lead. Alvin Davis with the bloop single to center field. Ken Griffey Jr. trots home, and the Mariners are up 1-0. With the score still 1-0, we go now to the top of the fourth inning. It's Dave Cochran here taking Don August deep to right field. Edgar Martinez scores ahead of Cochran. For Cochran, it's his first home run of the season, and the Mariners led it 3-0. Now going to the top of the fifth inning, Mariners still up 3-0, and this time it's Alvin Davis crushing this pitch to right field. For Davis, this is his 8th home run of the season. Pete O'Brien will score ahead of him. The Mariners take a 5-0 lead. And that would be all the runs Eric Hansen would need as he goes 7 innings for his first victory in his first game back since May 28th. He goes 7 innings, gives up 4 hits, and improves his record to 4-2. Rob Murphy would come in and close the door, getting B.J. Surhoff to ground to second base to end the ball game. The Seattle Mariners shut out the Milwaukee Brewers 5-0. The winner, Eric Hansen, is 4-2. The loser, Don August, is 5-3.
The stadium, Tommy Lasorda says hi and then says, "Don't you answer me back?" As the Pittsburgh Pirates are in town to face the Dodgers. And Mike Morgan on the mound, the starter for L.A. here in the first inning, strikes out Andy Van Slyke to end the inning. No score in the bottom of the second when Alfredo Griffin, again starter for Pittsburgh, Doug Drabeck, hits a single to left field, and this plates Chris Gwynn. It's 1-0 L.A. after 2 innings. Bottom 3, Doug Drabeck on the mound for Pittsburgh makes a very nice play on the Brett Butler comebacker, the high chopper snagged by the Cy Young Award winner. Jim Leyland looks on as his club still trails in the middle innings 1-0. And inspired by that beach ball piece I did yesterday, here the Dodger fans enjoy some of that beach ball action. And the fans are showing animation once again as Barry Bonds, chasing a foul ball, gets interrupted by a fan that goes through the gate. 1-0 L.A. in the bottom of the sixth inning. Mike Scioscia at the plate. He delivers a 2 RBI double that plates 2. Eddie Murray and Chris Gwynn all the way from first base, and it's 3-0 L.A. Mike Scioscia, trying to extend it into a triple, is thrown out at third base to end the inning, and 3-0 L.A. through 6 innings. Scioscia argues the call, but to no avail. We go to the late innings with a 3-0 Dodger lead. Bottom of the 8th, Barry Bonds makes a mistake in left field that costs the Pirates a run. It's Cal Daniels with the long fly ball to left field. Bonds seems to have it, but instead it goes off the webbing of his glove and into the front row of the stands for a home run for Daniels, his 9th home of the year. 4-0 LA leading in the 8th. 4-1 LA in the ninth, and Andy Van Slyke grounds out. Nice play, wants him well to end it. LA wins by that score. Mike Morgan, a complete game 3-hit victory. He's 8-5. Doug Drabeck, 6-8. At the plate against Bob Milwaukee in the bottom half of the third inning, Shumpert lifts one into left field, and that's a nice sliding play by Brady Anderson. Then David Segui bats in the top of the fourth inning of this scoreless game against Tom Gordon, the starter for Kansas City. Fly ball, short left field. Kirk Gibson can't get it. Cal Ripken Jr. scores on the play, 1-0 Baltimore in the fourth. And Baltimore starter Bob Milwaukee pitching shutout ball early here in the first inning strikes out George Brett to end the inning. Meanwhile, Tom Gordon finished with 7 strong innings, giving up but 1 run. Here in the fifth, he striked out Sam Horn. Gordon finished with 10 strikeouts, and it was 1-0 Baltimore in the eighth. Umpire Al Clark says this is a pretty good pitcher's duel. Let me get a better look at it. And indeed, now in the ninth inning, Baltimore clinging to the 1-run lead. It's Greg Olson now in relief. He struck out the first 2 men he faced, now facing Brian McRae, and a 1-0 Baltimore lead is now a final. McRae grounds out second to first to end the ballgame. Milwaukee and Olson combine on a 3-hitter. Baltimore wins 1-0. Milwaukee 3-2. Olson 11th save. Tom Gordon 4-5.
Serious conversation with that guy. That guy is in Chicago at Comiskey Park as the White Sox are hosting the Texas Rangers on Saturday night. It's a pitcher's duel early on, and here Alex Fernandez will strike out Ruben Sierra with a really bad swing in the top of the first inning. And then we go to the bottom of the third inning where we'll see John Barfield striking out Frank Thomas. There was still no score in the game at this point, and Sammy Sosa helped to keep it that way in the top of the fifth inning as Rafael Palmeiro hit a shot to center field, and Sosa made a nice leaping catch at the wall. So still no score until the top of the sixth inning, when Ruben Sierra will come to the plate, and Sierra hits a single to center field. This scores Diaz and gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Then to end the top of the sixth inning, Julio Franco will hit a line shot to the shortstop Ozzie Guillen. This is a 6-4 double play ending the inning and the threat, so it's still 1-0 Texas. Julio Franco not too happy about the way the inning ended. It remained 1-0 until the bottom of the eighth inning, and then there was a runner on first base with Ozzie Guillen at the plate. Guillen lays down a bunt, but John Barfield throws the ball away, ruining his own shutout as Lance Johnson comes all the way in to score, and Guillen goes all the way to third base. Then Tim Raines came to the plate, and he hit a sacrifice fly to center field that scored Guillen, giving the White Sox a 2-1 lead. Still in the bottom of the eighth inning, Greg Graybeck will come up, and Graybeck will hit a single to left field. Robin Ventura will come in to score on this play. That makes the score 3-1 White Sox, and that turned out to be the final score. Alex Fernandez went all the way in this one. He allowed just 4 hits, and here in the top of the ninth inning, he'll get Julio Franco to ground out to third to end the game. Fernandez improves his record to 3-7 with the win. The loser Barfield is now 3-2. Once again, the final score 3-1 White Sox. The Phillies are hosting the Houston Astros, and the Philly Fanatic seems to have an act worked out with Rafael Ramirez and Casey Candel. In the top of the first inning of this game, Ramirez would hit a single to right field. See Steve Finley leading off of second base, and Finley comes in to score, making the score 1-0 Astros early on. We move now to the bottom of the first inning, where the Phillies will come back to tie the game. Ricky Jordan hits a shot to left center field. This goes one hop over the wall. A ground rule double for Jordan that scores Dickie Thon and ties the game up at 1. It also sent Wes Chamberlain to third base, and he later scored on a sacrifice fly, making it 2-1 Philadelphia. So Tommy Green was working with a 1-run lead, and here in the top of the fourth inning, he strikes out Jeff Bagwell. Also in the top of the fourth inning, however, Eric Anthony tied the game up for Houston as he hit his first home run of the season. This is a solo shot to right field off of Green. It gives Anthony 3 RBIs for the season, so it was all tied up at 2. Jim DeShays was on the mound for Houston, and he had 6 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. Here you see him with the very first batter of the game as he gets Wally Backman looking. Both pitchers did very well in this game, but neither came up with a decision. Here you get a look at a very skinny guy, the Philly Fanatic, and a very, very fat guy dancing on the dugout. In the top of the 8th inning with the score still tied at 2, Ken Caminiti hit his 6th home run of the season, a solo home run to right field. That gave him 22 RBIs for the year, and it gave the Astros a 3-2 lead. But in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Phillies came back to tie it again. John Crook came up as a pinch hitter and hit a single to right field that scored Casey Candell, giving Crook 48 RBIs for the season and tying it at 3. The game went into extra innings tied at 3, and in the top of the 10th inning, Casey Candell hit a ground ball to Wally Backman at second base. Backman made a great play, flipped the ball to Dickie Thon, but Thon's throw to first was high, and Jeff Bagwell came in to score, giving Houston a 4-3 victory.
The New York Yankees and Stump Merrill taking on the Minnesota Twins. In the top of the first inning with no score, it's Chili Davis with the RBI single to right field here. Coming around to score will be Dan Gladden, and the Twins have an early 1-0 lead. For Davis, RBI number 46. Then some great defense. In the top of the 5th inning, it's Dan Gladden with the line drive to center field, and Roberto Kelly with a nice sliding shoestring snow cone catch, robbing Dan Gladden of a base hit. In the top of the 5th inning, no Chuck Knobloch with the single to center field. Mike Pagliarulo will score, and the Twins take a 2-0 lead. Some more great defense. This time Roberto Kelly gets robbed. He bloops a single to right field. Shane Mack comes up gunning, and he will throw Roberto Kelly out at second base, trying to go for the double. Meanwhile, it was Kevin Tapney on the mound for the Minnesota Twins, here striking out Mel Hall in the bottom of the first inning. Tapney would go 8 2/3 innings, giving up 8 hits, 3 runs, walking none, and striking out 1 for his 5th win against 6 losses. The Minnesota Twins would get him some more runs in the top of the 8th inning. It's Brian Harper here with the double to left center field. Roberto Kelly making a diving effort, but it would come up short, and it would go off his glove. Coming around to score would be Kirby Puckett and Chili Davis, and the Minnesota Twins took a 4-0 lead. For Harper, RBIs number 30 and 31. Then in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Yankees surprisingly get on the board on an Alvaro Espinosa solo home run. His first of the season, 3rd major league career, and the Twins led it 4-1. Then in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Yankees made a rally. Matt Noakes with the double to left center field. Coming in to score easily would be Mel Hall, and the Yankees trailed it 4-2. The Twins then went to Rick Aguilera, and Aguilera would give up this bloop double down the left field line as it gets by Dan Gladden. Coming in to score would be Matt Noakes, and the Yankees trailed it 4-3. For Jesse Barfield, it was RBI number 42. But Aguilera would settle down and strike out Alvaro Espinosa to end the ball game. The Twins win it 4-3. The winner Tapney 5-6 to lose to Wade Taylor 2-2. Aguilera's 19th save.